Hey, you're watching Half Asian Tarot Queen. I'm Elisa, and I'm here doing a reading. This reading is, I think, going to be kind of like a year-end wrap-up reading. There's been a lot of action that's been going down for the month of December. It's like, almost like, I feel like this year has been a year of a lot of reflection and a year of a lot of, I mean, I don't necessarily want to say stagnant because I think there's been a lot of changes internally for everyone, but there hasn't been a lot of like outward movement until December, and then it's just been like wham bam, like thank you ma'am, like it's just been like one thing after another, you know. I mean, we had the eclipse, which was a lot about, you know, inner work, and then right after that we had the great convergence, and then that was followed by the Christmas, and then now we're having a full moon, or we just had a full moon, and or we're having one, and yeah, this is just kind of like a year-end wrap-up because I just feel like there's almost like you kind of had to take a minute to process everything that's been coming through for the end of the year before we go into next year. But I think this year has been like, if I had to sum it up in like one, I mean, it's been a super transformational year. I mean, obviously because of COVID and everything that's going on with that, but then I think also fueling a lot of that transformation, there's been a lot of healing, and like I think this is also a big year of like self-love and just awareness about that. So that's not really one word, but I think those are some themes that have really been coming up. So I'm starting with the Nightmare Before Christmas deck. I've been doing these for the holiday season. It's been really interesting because it's like the Nightmare Before Christmas, and for sure the messages coming through with this deck have been like a lot more dramatic, whereas I feel like the other decks that I've been using have been kind of like almost like constructive feedback, but this is just like calling a spade, and like they're dramatic. So we'll see what comes through today. Starting out on the bottom, we have the Three of Presents. So this is like the Three of Pentacles in the traditional deck, and this is a card of like building a new foundation, you know, so I think that's pretty appropriate. Then we got the Seven of Candles. This guy's been coming up a lot. The King of Candles. Strength. Oh my gosh. Oh. There's been, I didn't realize, but two cards, there was a card underneath this strength, and it was the Sun. So that's really, it's really interesting how these messages are flowing together. And then we got the Nine of Potions, and then the Nine of Presents. So, I mean, really, how I'm taking this is like, you know, we've done all this inner work, and we're all kind of like starting to step through this doorway into this new life, and we're right now, like, I think putting this foundation in place for what this new situation is, our new world is going to be, you know. And I think a lot of us have like laid this groundwork so that we can, you know, go into 2021 with like progress, you know, because we've all been stuck in a quagmire for most of this year. So it's interesting. So we got the Seven of Candles. So this is a card of standing your ground and sort of defending your values or yourself, or, you know, your worth. And it's interesting because right after that we have this King of Candles, which is this like King of Wands in a traditional deck, which is like a manifester and someone who's really powerful at bringing things into reality. But the way this character has been coming through in all the holiday readings is as this hot-headed, fiery, like, person who's like kind of been out of shape, you know, and it's like their reality is kind of being pulled out from under them, and they were maybe living in this sort of I could say delusional reality, and like it's getting pulled out from under them and they're not happy about it, you know. So you can look at the Christmas Day reading, or you know, like the full moon reading, I think also, like this character, but I feel like he's come out in like all the holiday readings. So it's like, you know, we're trying to build this new foundation, like based on our own reality, and we're kind of having to defend that against this person who's like not happy, you know, like they don't want things to change, they don't want you to move forward, they're like been out of shape, you know, and there's this confrontation that's happening, and it's like fiery and dramatic, you know. So it's gonna take strength. It's gonna take strength to hold our ground against this, but we're determined because, you know, on the other side of this confrontation is like happiness and fulfillment, and you know, we've got the sun, you know, so it's just like we're not backing down, you know, because this is like what we've been working for, you know, it's coming to fruition. So, but we're going to have to fight for it, you know. But if we're willing to do that, on the other side of that, we have the Nine of Cups, which is like, you know, a card of healing, wishes coming true. You know, this is the Nine of Cups. You know, you're going to get your wish. And then we have the Nine of Presents, which is a card of like independence, you know, someone who's kind of got it going on. They're like financially independent, they're stable, you know. I liken it to this the Frank Sinatra song, like I did it my way, like on your terms, you know, and you deserve it, you know. But you're gonna have to like stand your ground against this hot-headed person who's like maybe been like riding on coattails, you know, and they don't like that there's this new foundation that's coming up, and it's like it's not gonna, you know, it's not gonna be as solid for this person. So they're really like, their world is being threatened, you know, and there's like a lot of conflict that's happening around that. So you know, that's a reality that we're gonna have to like face. I'm going into the Mystical Shaman Oracle, which I think I've used this deck more than any other deck this year. I love this deck. At the bottom we have the Taming the Wind. So this is a card of co-creation with the universe, and I mean, the story that always reminds me of, because there's all these feathers, you know, this person is like, you know, there's a person under there, but there's like all these feathers, you know, and it reminds me of like Forrest Gump, because it's just like Forrest was always like connected to this guidance that was beyond the physical world, you know. He was very connected to his mother, and even after his mother passed away, you know, he would hear his mother's voice, and whenever he was at this turning point where he needed guidance, this feather would fall from the sky, and he would know intuitively what his best move was, you know. So we have that underlying this. Okay, so then when we pull the other cards, we got the Curse, the Crow, Upper World, the Seer, and the Hunter. So it's really interesting because, like I said, it's like so cool how these are like lining up. The stories are like lining up. So we've got the curse. So this speaks to like a family distortion or a family curse. It could be, but it's like a distortion at the root of it. And so it's sort of like it's impacting you because it's like making you see things not necessarily how they are. And so it's like you're living based on a sort of like deception or like an alternate reality that's not really the truth, and so it's interesting because there's been all this shadow work that like came through, especially for the eclipse season, about healing this distortion. And the thing about the curse is and especially like a family curse is like you might not even be aware of it because it's like you've been living in this reality your whole life. It's like been carried down through your family, and so you've just accepted it as reality, but like it's actually not, So an example is like that I think is really common is like a scarcity mentality. Like you could have like grown up in in a situation of lack or where there wasn't enough, and so you see the world as being hard and difficult, and like resources as being scarce, instead of seeing like an abundant universe where what you need is going to come to you, and so like depending on your perception of reality, you're going to attract completely different experiences to yourself. And so it's important to bring these things into your awareness if you're wanting to attract a different experience to yourself, So next we have the crow, which it's a card of like being in alignment with the truth. So it's interesting because we have this distortion and then we have this truth, where like this distortion is coming to light and we're undeniably like being confronted with the truth, So it's really interesting because underneath being, undeniably in alignment with the truth, we have this hot-headed person that we're having to stand our ground against, and it's just sort of like they don't like this truth, and so they're really upset about it, but like that doesn't change that it actually is the truth, and so then we have the upper world, which speaks to having guidance from like the heavenly realms or from God or from the universe. We have guidance, and that comes right underneath this strength and the sun card, So it's just sort of like we do live in an abundant universe, but you have to hold your vision and you have to be, strong, to like bring it forward. And we, but we have that guidance, like we are getting signs and messages from that realm, to help us push through this barrier, And next we have the seer, which is a card of like following your mind's eye or following your intuition, because you are being guided. You are going to get the information and the signs that you need to like push you through, that guidance is here, and then it's so beautiful how these flow together. It flows right into the hunter, which is a card of like tracking your prey or like bringing, your prize forward, like you're going to bring it forward. Like you're going to bring this forward on your terms. You have the tools to get there. If you follow your internal guidance, you are going to track your prey, which in this case, I'm like a little heebie-jeebied about like all the like killing of animals part of this card, like I like to look at it from a different perspective because I'm like a vegan chef. I mean, that's what I really do. So anyways, I'm just putting that out there. But at the end of the day, like what it's about is that we're bringing into fruition like our dreams are becoming reality, and we're like stepping forward in our power independently, you know, and bringing our gifts to the world. So, super beautiful. Okay, I'm going to go last to the Urban Tarot, and I'm going to come back and do it because I've got some stuff going on in the background, but I'll be back. Okay, so with the Urban Tarot, it starts to get pretty interesting. So at the bottom of the deck, I had an extra card that flipped out, and it was the Sun. So this is happiness, fulfillment. This is it's like a happy ending. It's like a Hollywood ending. Walking off into the sunset with your happy family, abundance, fulfillment. And then at the bottom we had the Hangman. So this is kind of getting a bird's eye view, which seems perspective. I mean, a bird's eye view perspective, but that seems fitting since this is kind of a year-end wrap up, you know. But we're getting perspective on how we can get. I mean, this is where we want to end up, right? So we got the Emperor, the High Priestess, the Filmmaker, Death, and the Journalist. So, I mean, this is stepping into our power. This is empowerment. And it's interesting because this empowered Emperor falls right under, you know, standing our ground for what we believe, and the curse, you know. So it's like we're taking a stand against this curse. We're like no longer allowing it to control the narrative of our life, and we're stepping into our power. And we're writing the script. Like, we're not going to play out this curse anymore, you know? That goes right into the High Priestess, you know? So this is, the message with the High Priestess is one of, not so much of, like, actively striving and clawing for forcing an outcome, but just being in alignment with the truth and the highest good, and having done your own inner work so that you can just allow things to unfold. So it's interesting that it like falls right under this card of the Crow, of the truth, you know, and this High Priestess is allowing, but it's this also falls right under this hot-headed person who's like maybe been living in like an illusion, and you know, we're having to stand our ground against this illusion, but this is not something there's like a certain amount of grace with this confrontation, because we're not having to like claw and force our outcome against this person. We're just allowing the truth to unfold naturally because we've just been in alignment with the truth. And so there's no need to force the outcome. I mean, it just is what it is. And that also, at the end of the day, I mean, is part of what's fueling the rage with this person, because at some level they know that, you know, but there's not anything that they can do to stop it, you know, either. No matter how much they like throw a fit and like freak out, like the truth is gonna still be the same, like tomorrow when you wake up. And so this can be really upsetting for someone who's not in alignment with the truth, you know. And there's definitely a line being drawn in the sand, like as we like finish out the year. And this reading is probably going to be triggering to some people, I'm guessing. But we go right into the Filmmaker, and I have a whole reading about this called "This Is My Movie," because the Filmmaker is like, this is the Prince of Cups, so it's like you know, like a message of love, but the filmmaker, you know, like they're writing the script. You know, it's interesting because I was talking about that with this. It's just like we're no longer letting someone else write the script. We're not going to play out this tired tale of this family curse that we've been living out forever. Like, now we're writing the script, you know? And the thing that's beautiful about it is that it's like the script is in alignment with the truth, you know? It's the path of least resistance. So it's just sort of like we're not having to like be ruthless and claw and force our way. It's just what's meant to be. And so it's causing, so we have death, this gigantic transformation. And our wishes are coming true, you know. And we have the journalist. This is the final card on this row. The Prince of Wands. So it's like a message, a new spark, you know. It's just like the word's out. Like it can't be denied anymore. Like we've gone through these sort of like kerfuffles on the way to the end of the year where this truth has like kind of bubbled up, you know, but like it's like whack-a-mole, you know, like where we keep trying to like knock it back down because it's like, no, this isn't what, you know, the hot-headed pumpkin wants, you know. And so, but now it's like it's gotten picked up by Reuters, you know, and AP. Like the news is out. It can't be denied. It's common knowledge, you know, it's in the press. Like the electoral colleges voted on it. Like it just is what it is, you know, and that's where we're at, you know. And then on the next row we have Dominion. We have the Ace of Cups. We have Justice. We have the Knight of Wands, and we have the Lovers. So this is just like really, I mean, we're just like ending the year with a big fireworks display bang, you know, because it's just like we have Dominion, you know, so this is kind of like speaking to this oppressive situation that we've been trying to break free from forever, you know, and it's kind of like a turning point. This is the Two of Wands in the regular deck, so it's just like you're kind of at a fork in the road where you're going to have to go one way or the other way, you know, like there isn't a middle way. You have to go one way or the other way, you know, and it's just sort of like we've taken control of the narrative. Like we're not going to play out this curse anymore. We've like decided, we've stepped into our power, and we're going forward with a new story, you know, and we're going to stand behind that. Like, that's just what's going to happen, you know? And it's like, it doesn't matter, like, how much this hot-headed pumpkin throws a fit. We've decided. Things are changing, you know? And this person is going to throw a fit, you know? But we've got this High Priestess here who's just been slowly, over time, just gradually aligning herself with the truth and like working on herself and her own obstructions and what she needs to shift about herself so that she's no longer playing out the curse, you know. She's aligning herself with a different story. She's aligning herself with the Ace of Cups, this new beginning in love. Like, no longer is she going to live out this curse, but actually, she's got this brand new beginning that's coming to her, and it looks really good, you know? Like, she's going to actually be appreciated and respected and loved, you know? And then we have Justice. So it's just like, whatever this situation was, it's being brought to justice. And we're taking control of the script, you know? Like we're writing the script. It's going to take strength, but ultimately it leads to the sun, you know, like it's worth the effort. And we have the support of the heavens behind us and bringing this to justice. So it's just like, oh my gosh, like, you know, sometimes it's not your moment. And sometimes you don't really have the support to like push the boulder up the hill. But at this moment, it's coming together, you know? And so it's like there's this huge transformation that's happening. And underneath that, we have the Knight of Wands, which is the rock star in this deck. And really, like, what that's saying is, this is your moment. Like, it's time to make a move. Like, a bold move. Like, the world is watching. Like, this is your moment. And you're going to know when it comes to you, the seer. Follow your intuition. Follow your inner guidance. And go towards your wish. Don't hold back. We're not playing out this script anymore. There's a new script, a new world, and things are changing. So it's like, if you follow your inner guidance, it's going to lead you to the bounty. It's going to lead you to breaking free from this curse, living your life on your own terms. It's going to be common knowledge. And then we have the Lovers. So this can be like a reconciliation within yourself, you know. Perhaps this curse has been causing you to like fight against yourself or have like this internal dissonance, you know, that's being reconciled. Or it could be this curse has been blocking you from a deep connection with with your soulmate, you know. But whatever it is, it's about to be common knowledge. It's like the paparazzi has found out about it. I've been watching this show on Netflix that just came out. It's called Bridgerton. This is like totally reminding me of this. Like Mrs. Whistledown is this like, she's like the paparazzi, but it's, you know, like in England in like, you know, the olden days. And this is just like the ultimate love story at the end, you know. So, I mean, this is a really beautiful way to end the year. Like, I don't know what's going down, but like, there's definitely this new order that's coming through. And, you know, I think we've all spent the year doing a lot of work on ourselves and like envisioning what we want our lives to look like in the future. And a lot of things are starting to manifest and shift in the physical world, you know, but we're also hitting a lot of conflict and resistance. And so I think there's going to be like a lot of fireworks on the way to this new beginning, and that's blowing up right now. And it's like, it's time to break out the popcorn, you know, but don't get discouraged because it's all leading to a good place, you know. But I'm going to Starseed Oracle to end the reading, because I think after this I'm going to start working on the New Year's readings. But we've got, perfect, we've got deep cellular healing, Arcturus energy, physical and emotional healing. Like, we've taken this whole year, we've stepped down, slowed down, like worked on ourselves. We've done all this healing, and like it's all about to like, show up in the physical world. Forge, don't follow, pave a new path, be the leader you wish you had. So it's like, it's time to rewrite the script. We don't need to keep playing out this old, tired story. We're stepping into our power, and we're holding our ground on what we want our life to look like. And this is really beautiful. Oh my gosh. Okay, so then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Golden Children, inner child, tenderness, innocence, and rare gifts. So we're just like, we're going through this gateway into this new year, and we're bringing our gifts with us, and things are changing, and this is our movie. So, happy New Year. Happy end of the 2020. We went through a lot this year. But it looks like it's going to be worth it. So just hang in there, and we'll check in soon with New Year's.